A recent Wall Street Journal report said that the United Arab Emirates was supplying weapons to the paramilitary group allegedly carrying out many of the atrocities in the neighboring Sudan. The UAE denies the accusation.
Hundreds of thousands of refugees are in Chad after fleeing atrocities allegedly committed by ethnic Arab militias whom they refer to as Janjaweed. The Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, which is fighting the military in Sudan's civil war, was created from and is linked to the Janjaweed. It's led by Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, better known as Hemeti. One refugee described how her community came under a Janjaweed attack.
They were dressed like normal citizens. 2 or 3 of them started killing and attacking people. That's what I saw. Those Janjaweed members were burning our houses, so we started running. They killed a lot of people.
In May, representatives from a United Arab Emirates aid group visited Kafrun to draw attention to its efforts to help refugees like Badr. As the UAE promotes its humanitarian efforts in Chad, an August article by the Wall Street Journal, a US newspaper, said the UAE was supplying weapons to the RSF. The UAE has denied the allegations. VOA asked an expert on the conflict whether the allegations, if true, could prolong the conflict.
Sudan will never find peace if we don't find a way to deal with the UAE. I have been saying this like multiple times. Political leaders, whoever is going to be our statesmen, stateswomen running the country, they need to go directly and sit down with UAE leaders. What exactly do you want from Sudan?
Much of Sudan's gold output, which is largely controlled by RSF leader Hemeti, is sold in the UAE. The UAE could gain on a few fronts from its reported support of the RSF in Sudan, said Brendan Novell, a PhD candidate in political science who specialises in the Horn of Africa.
I think it's a mix of political and economic interests. I think the UAE wanting to get rid of all of the Islamist elements from the former regime in Sudan. And then the economic aspect, Hemeti's till, for years, he's been using the UAE as a platform for his financial activities.
Adam Abdurrahim Yunus and his family also fled Sudan because of atrocities blamed on the RSF. He echoes the feelings of many Sudanese who say Hemeti should never rule the country because of the crimes committed by the RSF and Janjaweed.
The Janjaweed are killing people and waging war in Darfur. Their main goal from the beginning was for Hemeti to take control away from the army and rule the country. What he has succeeded in is uniting the people against him. How can he rule those people now?
In a statement made to VOA, the UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs said, "The UAE categorically refutes the claims and allegations detailed in your story. The UAE has not supplied arms and ammunitions to any of the warring parties in Sudan since the outbreak of the conflict." The UAE has also set up a field hospital to help refugees in the same Chadian town from where the weapons allegedly supplied to the RSF originated. It has called for an end to the fighting in Sudan. Henry Wilkins, VOA News, Adre, Chad.
After the Taliban took Kabul in August 2021, Afghan photojournalist Maryam Alimi fled to the US. Now she must restart her career in media.
A proud moment for Maryam Alimi. A media outlet in her new hometown of Baltimore, Maryland, has published her images. In Afghanistan, Alimi was one of the country's first female photojournalists. She had a career as a freelancer and taught photography at the nonprofit Imagine Asia. But when the Taliban retook control of the country in August 2021, she fled, making her way eventually to the US. Once in America, she had to start a new life and re-establish herself as a photojournalist.
I am new here. I have to network and become familiar with the resources and people working here.
The fundamentals of journalism are the same everywhere, she says, but she still needs to learn some new skills.
I can communicate with people in English, but it's not enough if I want to pursue a career in my field. I should be able to write well. For example, I should be able to write the stories that I work on in the US.
Experience of working with UN women and UNAMA in Afghanistan.
Fortunately for Alimi, help was at hand. She was part of a 6-month program for exiled female journalists set up by the International Women's Media Foundation, or IWMF. The program offered a week-long retreat, regular training sessions, and access to mentors, workshops, and more. The IWMF's Deputy Executive Director, Nadine Hoffman, said the precarious situation of Afghanistan's female journalists inspired the foundation to act.
Many of them were really well established in their journalism careers in Afghanistan and had worked very hard to get to where they were. So we wanted to have a cohort that could give them, some peer fellowship, that could also be a place to talk about some of the trauma that they had experienced and were experiencing, and to start to process that.
The fellowship also offered practical advice to help the journalists adjust to life and work in a new country.
In addition to trying to just be able to settle here and to think about how their careers could continue in the news, they also have to think about how they're going to stay in the United States, how they're going to afford to, even live here.
Since the fall of Kabul 2 years ago, the need for such programs is clear. Hundreds of journalists have left the country and thousands have lost their jobs in the media. Around 80% of Afghan female journalists now no longer work, says the press freedom nonprofit Reporters Without Borders. For Alimi, the Taliban takeover has rolled back all the progress made in Afghan journalism in the 2 decades under a more democratic government. And she says she misses her job teaching girls about photography.
I would listen to their stories and see how they were working. That was very pleasant for me, because whatever we worked on, it would be their first time experiencing it.
But now she says the future of journalism, especially for Afghan women, is dark, with little room for freedom of expression. For Roshan Nurzai, Peshan Hamdard, VOA News.
Eyewitness video captured the dramatic moment a rock slide came crashing down a Tennessee parking lot where a group of friends gathers. The rock slide came after days of heavy rainfall in Gallenburg, Tennessee. Several friends were in this parking lot enjoying dinner when they witnessed the start of the rock slide. According to the reports, no one was injured in the incident.
The Voice of America, VOA.
This has been MLINE Top 3 Updates powered by VOA Voice of America and has been with me, mirzawardana, who's inviting you over again to visit the Instagram account at mirza_wardana, that is. Check the recommendation of online shopping goods that you can see from the profile, or click also on the link in the Insta story. Until next time.